welcome to Senior Spotlight on channel WMA2. I'm your host, Carissa Haskins. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic that's a little bit touchy to seniors this year, and it's COVID and how it's affected our senior year. But before we get started, I want to welcome our guest today, Megan.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really glad to be here.
Yeah, of course. So how has COVID affected your senior year so far?
Well, I think it has affected a lot of seniors and other students. But coming from an athlete like us, our senior season was cut short. We had no fans. There was stupid restrictions, all the games and the schedules were so different. And I know for my team, our senior night was one of the first games because we were uncertain if we'd go remote or not. And our team felt so disconnected and lost. We were not even able to sit next to each other on the benches. It wasn't the senior season we anticipated, but I'm really glad to have had one at all.
Yeah, wow. Wow, I completely agree with you regarding the restrictions in sports, and it's difficult for teammates, I feel to connect with this whole COVID thing. But not only that, scouts couldn't go to our games, and we as athletes couldn't go visit the colleges and the athletic side of the colleges. But not only that, many colleges have been waiving SAT scores and application fees for COVID. But thinking about it, some students are extremely relieved, but others are worried because that was their main reason how they got into college. Those test scores determined whether they're going to get in or not.
Right. I didn't even think about it like that. One of my concerns is that we weren't going to be able to get those huge senior milestones. Some events like prom were being rearranged while some were just plain out canceled, like homecoming or senior trip. But they have to fit within the state guidelines, which, it's great in the aspect that we still have these events, but, other larger schools haven't even been in person yet, let alone are planning or arranging a prom, and the biggest event, graduation, is, it's coming up really fast, and there's still questions surrounding the entire thing.
Yeah, no, the road to graduation is getting closer and closer. I feel like it's creeping up on us faster than we anticipated. But honestly, I feel like teacher expects more from us than ever.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about deadlines, grading the grade book. I thought senior year was supposed to be memorable. I'm not going to remember any of this.
Right.
And it's all about switching to in-person, online, this week, that week. And just have so many students just wanting to give up because it's so stressful. And now more than ever, we just need all the support we can get, but we're not. But
Right.
the class of 2020 was so babied, even though they lasted 2 months.
Right.
It's if we complained, we get yelled at. But our whole entire senior year has been up in shambles, and it's literally been based off of 2 days.
I completely agree. Some of our classes are nowhere near normal, and others are just completely canceled because of COVID guidelines. And taking my class DMA, for instance, there's not enough camera equipment for everyone among the 3 classes. And secondly, how is my teacher going to explain all of these things over a screen? When the class is regularly run, everything is super hands-on and we have plenty of physical help. It becomes really difficult to maintain a class and feel like we're actually learning sometimes.
Yeah. No, wow. Yeah, with the whole remote learning thing, I feel like now just teens aren't retaining any information.
Yeah.
High school has literally straight up been staring at a screen for 6 to 7 hours, and if you can't see your face, we get yelled at for
Right.
it. It's I don't want to stand at a screen for 6 to 7 hours.
No.
It's all about memorizing definition, memorizing terms, and then when you finally get to the test, you're I have no clue what I'm learning.
Right, exactly.
It's now more than ever, there's been a huge spike in teen depression and anxiety, and the lack of mental health has gone down so fast. It should come first now.
Right.
Because we have no social interaction. Everyone feels alone. Everyone just what do I have to live for right now? It's
Right.
so confusing.
Right.
But since we got our point of views, I thought we should get another senior point of view. So we have Levi asking them, another senior, about how COVID has affected them.
Thanks, Carissa. I'm now talking to a fellow senior. His name's Darren. So, Darren, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
So, how has the coronavirus affected you?
The coronavirus has affected me a little bit, especially back in February when we went back home after a huge event in the week, as we usually get. The virus came around, and on March, which was sadly on my birthday, we all had to deal with remote learning. This was a new concept. We've never dealt with this before, so it became very stressful. And most of that junior year I had was really stressful. In senior year, we got more used to it. We were able to get back into the schools, and everything fell suit.
So are you currently stressed out about the future?
In future, when it comes to college, a little. There are some colleges that still do remote learning, especially outside of New Hampshire and Vermont. However, when it comes to places where it is, how I say it specifically, schools that still do in-person learning but with limits, it's going to be a little stressful with a little bit of anxiety. But overall, I should be all right.
Well, thank you, Darren. Back to you, Carissa.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Levi, for getting another senior's perspective about what's going on. It's interesting to see how this affected many people in many different ways.
Yeah, many seniors, like including myself, have anxiety surrounding things like college and the process of applying. It feels like we're fending for ourselves, you know? First, we have to decide where we want to go to college without even being able to visit the campus.
Yeah.
Then when it comes to applying for college, it feels like we have to figure it out on our own. You know, we have little to no guidance or direction from really anyone in our lives.
Yeah, no, personally, it's a hard decision having to figure out and decide whether or not you want to go to college and play the sports you love or give up sports completely and go to my dream school.
Right.
Decisions like this have many seniors going crazy, and look at everything right now, it's probably the most difficult decision because do you go and play the sports even though those college might not even have a season?
Right.
Or do you just go to your dream school?
Exactly. I completely understand where you're coming from, but besides sports scholarships, a lot of businesses and companies are creating new scholarships, and some are even upping the value of ones they already have, which is really nice because even a small percentage of colleges are actually offering to look at the 2020 tax income, you know, regarding families and like scholarship money and whatever. And a lot of students have decided like not to even live on campus, at least for like the first semester, to save money.
Yeah.
And seeing as most schools will be remote anyways.
Even living situations right now are crazy because most people can't go back to their home state without having to quarantine for 14 days and then do the same exact thing once they get back to their college.
Right.
They don't even want to travel anymore, which makes them just like depressed because they can't see anyone.
Right.
On the other side of this, many students are giving up such great opportunities because they don't want to go far away. They don't know what's going to happen. COVID's going to get bigger. Like everything is just based off of COVID right now.
Yeah. And it's scary and sad thinking about, like, if you moved away and then you couldn't even be in person for your classes. It honestly feels like a waste of time and money.
Yeah, no, wow. These are some excellent points. I feel like we could sit here and talk about this for hours, but I think it's time to wrap it up. Thank you again, Megan, so much for joining me in Senior Spotlight. And I'm your host, Chris Haskins, and I'll see you next time.